Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The General Hospital trauma-based sterile lights hummed above like a swarm of angry insects, throwing harsh shadows on the blood-soaked gurney where Marco Rios lay unmoving. His chest rose and fell in short, irregular spurts, each breath a precarious wind against the several stab wounds caused by Ross Cullum in that frantic confrontation. The air was heavy with the metallic tang of blood and the harsh bite of antiseptic. Dr. Isaiah Gannon, his scrubs already stained scarlet, barks commands at the nurses while Elizabeth Baldwin assists, her hands steady despite the panic on her face. "Beeps dropping 80 over 50. We're losing him," Isaiah exclaimed, his voice cutting over the beeps of monitors. He'd witnessed too many near calls in his career, but this one seemed special. Marco was more than just another patient. He was entwined in the web of Port Charles's hazardous undercurrents, tied to Sidwell, Lucas, and threats that seemed to multiply by the hour. As they worked furiously to seal the lacerations, Isaiah's mind raced. There had been whispers earlier, warnings from unnamed sources about continued perils linked to Marco's family links and the WSB scandal. Cullum's survival in the nearby OR only raised the stakes. If Marco made a visible comeback, he would become an even bigger target. Lucas Jones, still recovering from his own surgery on Cullum, the guy who had just attempted to murder his boyfriend, paced the corridor outside, ignorant to the gravity of the situation. He had spared the life of the person who had caused this nightmare, a harsh irony that would plague him later on. Elizabeth emerged shortly, her countenance grim, and drew Lucas aside. "Lucas, it's bad. We're doing everything we can, but you need to prepare yourself." Inside the OR, Isaiah made a split-second decision that changed everything. As Marco's vital signs dipped more, he motioned to a trusty nurse who had worked with him on previous tough nights. "Prepare the morgue transfer protocol quietly and give me a John Doe body from downstairs. Similar build, age range. No records, no questions." Elizabeth asked, but Isaiah's eyes were steely. "Trust me on this, Liz. If he survives openly, they'll finish what Cullum started. Sidwell's enemies, the remnants of that organization. Marco won't last a week." The idea became clear in those frenzied minutes. Marco's internal bleeding was severe, but with careful intervention and a cocktail of medications to induce a coma-like state that mimicked death, they were able to purchase time. Isaiah had connections from his past, off-the-books partnerships made during his absence from Port Charles that may aid in a covert extraction. As the team did everything they could to stabilize Marco, Isaiah administered a precisely calibrated sedative that reduced his heart rate to nearly undetectable levels. Monitors went flat on cue, and alarms were muted almost instantly by his rapid override. "Time of death. Call it," Isaiah replied coldly for the official record, his voice revealing nothing of the calculated risk. Elizabeth nodded, acknowledging the unspoken layers. Death was rarely final in Port Charles, but this forged one had to be convincing enough to fool even the most astute observers, including Marco's bereaved relatives. Hours later, the story went quickly across the hospital halls. Lucas received the tragic call and raced to the trauma unit, his world shattered. He entered the dimly lighted room with Marco's body covered by a sheet and the machinery silent. As Lucas approached, tears flowed down his cheeks and his hands trembled as he peeled back the fabric just enough to reveal Marco's pale, unmoving features. "This is my fault," Lucas said softly, his voice breaking. "I dragged you into all of this. The danger with Sonny, the WSB 4 minutes 10-second mess, Cullum. I should have protected you better. I love you, Marco. God, I love you so much." He bent down and gently kissed Marco's forehead, staying there as if willing life back into him. His body was tortured with deep, unyielding weeping, the kind of sadness that only comes from losing someone who would become your anchor amid the storm of Port Charles. Lucas was unaware that Marco's consciousness flickered weakly under the severe medication. He could hear the words faintly, like echoes in a fog, but his body did not respond. The pain from the wounds had subsided, replaced by a thick numbness. Isaiah had briefed him in a rushed, whispered conversation before the procedure.